Hello and welcome to the Eclectic Collection. Yet again, we start episode 45, Lefties. Let's talk about left-handed people, shall we? Me being a right-handed person, frankly, I can't relate. If I was to do anything remotely left-handed, it would just be comical. I couldn't even imagine catching a ball, feeding myself, forget writing, any kind of actual motor function or getting ready skill set. Not going to happen. I could barely hold a glass in my left hand, and that's only if need be, and I'm watching myself when I hand it off from my right hand. So forget it if it didn't have a handle. I'm just not a person that can do left-handed things. And yet they say some people are left-handed, maybe batters or kickers, like there are certain lefty parts of them for sports, but they're technically right-handed people. And the world is essentially made for right-handed individuals, but lefties crack me up because in my head there were two types of lefties in school. There were the lefties that wrote straight across their paper and would get all the ink and graphite all over their hand because they were just writing on top of what they had to put in their notebook. And then there were the people that did that crazy hook around curve with their left hand to try and almost pull away from the ink and the graphite on the page. But lefties make me laugh because they do things, and I admire it since I can't do it, in such a way that most of them, I would argue, are ambidextrous and have the skill set to be able to do almost everything in both hands. Now, it's not 100%, but my evidence of this is having gone to Catholic school. So, no nun in the world is going to allow a child to be left-handed. It's just a no-no. You don't do it. So let's go back a little bit in terms of wordage and superstitions. And a lot of this information, by the way, if you're interested, you can catch Mysterious Morsels, my most recent endeavor on my YouTube channel, and I cover a lot of this stuff there. So superstitions being what they are, left was always considered bad, dangerous, or evil. And if you go back to like cartoons where you had the little devil and the little angel on the shoulders of people, if you look closely, the little devil's always on the left and the little angel's always on the right. Nobody ever says, this is my left-hand man. They say it's my right-hand man. And when they reference anything religious, it's always the right hand of God. It's never the left hand. When you go to court, you swear with your right hand. Put your right hand up. You don't put your left hand up. They wouldn't even take it. So it's interesting that there are right-handed things meant to be the correct way, even for left-handed people. You can even argue in English the concept of being right or just. No one says you're left, you're right. It's also reading your rights. So whether you're R-A-G-H-T, R-I-T-E, or the direction, you're talking about rights and being right. So delving a little further into this, as far as linguistics is concerned, it's interesting because in Italiano, if you're left, it is mano sinistra, so you're sinister left hand. In Spanish, you are izquierda, to the left, which is representative of crooked like a dog's hind leg. And if you are, in French, I believe the word is gauche, which for our purposes in English adoption is basically saying that somebody is not very nice. If you're gauche, you're behaving in an obnoxious way, and that is the left for lefties. So it's just not a good way to be. It's socially unacceptable. So the pointing of the negative goes to the lefties. So as far as it goes with linguistics and lefts, it's not a good thing, and it's kind of, it's negative, obviously, but it's really pointing towards something wrong. And, well, if you're not right, you're wrong. So people would often get accused of being witches or warlocks, or you were untrustworthy, and God forbid a person was a redhead and left-handed. That was a big no. So when it comes to Catholic school, it's funny because if a kid presented early grabbing crayons or pencils, paintbrushes, etc. with your left hand, you were often redirected. Sometimes they would kind of give you a little tap on your left hand and be like, no, honey. And they would put the pencil or crayon or whatever in your right hand and forcibly make you into a right-handed person. Now, I was naturally right-handed, so I didn't have this problem. But my niece is the best example. Now, her penmanship is horrific. And she writes like a third grader. But here's my theory as to why. I believe that my niece was meant to be left-handed. However, that was a no with both my mother and every nun that she came in contact with. So when she was little, they would force whatever writing implement into her right hand. But here's the evidence. To this day, she can write, feed herself, handle things, drive, move, pick up stuff, and very well, I might add, using her left hand. So her right-handed penmanship was really never meant to form, and as a result, she writes like a third grader and it looks like scribble. But I would venture that if she had utilized the left hand, she would have been neater, and it would have been really what she was supposed to do. When she played soccer, she would kick left. Everything about her was left-handed. Now, I find it funny because I'm not only right-handed, I am also right-eyed and right-legged and right-eared. I feel like I hear better with my right ear. I feel like I see better with my right eye. Well, I do actually. And I feel that I lean toward the right. Everything would be on my right, but she's the left. And since that was probably what she was made to do, and we forced it in the opposite direction, it all went south. So there's a lot of people out there like that. If you're one of them, do let us know, because I feel that there's a lot of people like that out there that got forced into right-handedness, really were meant to be lefties, and they're just putting a square peg in a round hole in this world of right-handedness. So it's not a fair shake, and I do feel bad for you. It's no less amusing to me. I still marvel at people just watching them hold a fork, wield a knife with a left hand. Impressive. I could never do that, even if I wanted to. And any more defined motor skills. I mean, I grew up playing Pac-Man and everything else, and hand-eye motor coordination. I'm completely right-handed. At best, my left hand was hitting the fire button. And I would just marvel at people that were playing Pac-Man or Donkey Kong or whatever with their left hand. I'm thinking, how are you doing that? Everything's backwards. So it's interesting. But it's one of those things that's a curious point. And if you are a lefty, I so apologize for this right-handed world just mistreating you, especially if you were a lefty that got put into right-handedness that wasn't supposed to. But as for my niece, I think she's still going to write like a third grader forever. If you liked what you heard today, then check us out at eclecticcollectionpodcast.com or listen on your preferred platform. I'm Terry Tenaglia. Thanks for listening.